Nintendo releasing the Switch 2 console this week in the midst of the White House's tariff campaign on China, Vietnam, and other key supplier countries. After some deliberation, Nintendo decided not to raise prices on its new consoles, but it did hike prices for accessories. Joining us right now on the tariff impact on gaming is Jens Hilgers, the founding general partner of Bitkraft. And Jens, thank you very much for being here. I know you have been in this industry for a very long time, 27 years or so, been following everything that happens here. I am almost skeptical that slight price hikes would stop gamers because they seem to me like they are the most fanatic of fans. What do you think the impact of these potential tariffs are?
Well, to begin with, it's certainly painful for gamers right now to see what sort of drives their gaming passion, which is the underlying hardware in particular, getting more expensive by those tariffs. So it's about 30% right now that we see impacting consoles, but also gaming peripherals, the mice, the keyboard that you use, PC equipment, PC upgrades, all that is affected and might go up to about 145% again. What is a bit secluded from that is the mobile gaming segment, where we only see 20% of tariffs on smartphones, which is the largest gaming platform with about 50% of our industry. Now, that will certainly take the decision for gamers. Will I invest in new hardware? Will I upgrade my hardware? That will put a big question mark on that. And I would believe that some gamers might just delay a purchase. They might delay an upgrade, or they might just delay that sort of buy-in into Nintendo, who's been hit particularly hard here for their next cycle. That will somehow, I guess, have a spillover effect into digital software sales as well, where they have to do an upgrade. So there might be a bit of pressure on digital software sales. I think what's interesting and a nuance on this is that the last years might give gamers a bit of forgiveness in the sense that the sort of requirements of the latest generation of games have not really increasing too much in the last years. So there's not too much of pressure right now for gamers to have to upgrade to play the next Call of Duty potentially. So maybe they can endure the next 6 to 12 months, but it's really going to be telling what happens with the taxes, and what's to watch here certainly is the next holiday season.
So Switch 2 for now is not going to be increased for the console itself. The docks that are used to play it on a full-size screen are going to cost $10 more. Straps for 2 controllers will see a $1 increase. That doesn't seem like a very expensive hump to jump for some of these things. But you're right, when it comes to the consoles themselves, I think Microsoft is recommended for its Xbox Series S, which starts right now at $380, up $80 from the $299 price tag that debuted in 2020. So I guess it depends on how much of this gets passed on and what the elasticity is in terms of price, what the ability for these gamers to observe. Would you hold back on investments in this arena until you see this out?
I think there's interesting pockets of investment, and consider we're early stage investors. So the outcome of our investments are to be seen in 5 to 10 years from now. But for the public market, certainly we can see the impact of sort of the tariffs right now on companies that are in particular exposed to either sort of hardware sales to begin with, console manufacturers, peripherals manufacturers. We see that for sure, and that would probably be careful as we don't really know what's going to happen on 9th of July. The other part is certainly the release of AAA games. I do believe that sort of higher profile games, there might be a consideration from larger publishers and developers, like, should I release that game right now? Should I push that out a bit more as pressure builds up on sort of cash in the pockets of gamers?
And I guess the big question is, do you think any of the manufacturing would be moved? I mean, so much of it is in China right now, a lot in Vietnam too, but it's not something that most of these console makers can be really nimble about. It takes a long time for them to plan these things as well.
100%. This is a difficult endeavor for manufacturers, and it feels a bit like a whack-a-mole game somehow for them, I guess. So seriously readjusting your supply chain, seriously readjusting production manufacturing is a difficult endeavor. So I'm not sure which path this will go. There has been efforts on diversification of where do we manufacture our equipment, and Apple is subject to that too, right? So I mean, 40% of their App Store revenues are based on games content. So you see that device is used a lot for gaming to begin with. So is the entirety of sort of smartphones at large. And we have seen Apple diversifying already and now being pulled into the US by the president. So with local manufacturing. So I believe there's going to be a continued effort, but it's hard to maneuver for these companies.